water signs, it's Amanda Beach with Cosmic Beach Consulting, and here is your Cosmic Surf Report for the third week of August 2016. We have two major astrological events this week. Well, we have a lot of major astrological events every week, but the two that I'm going to focus on are, well, one's from slightly from last week, but we feel the energy more this week, is Saturn goes direct, and we have a full moon and a lunar eclipse in Aquarius on August 18th. Starting off the week, Saturn goes direct. So for those of you who have been having a hard time getting on top of your game, maybe you're like me and you were doing a lot of behind the scenes work when you're launching a business and you're having a hard time getting yourself to stick to a schedule. Or maybe you've been looking for a new job or more responsibility and you've been kind of meeting some roadblocks. This is a week when that's going to kind of start to fall into place and go away, and some of that stagnant energy in that department is going to go away, because Saturn is the Lord of lessons, and the harder you're willing to work, the more he's willing to give. So for you, if you've been putting all this effort into your, career or employment, you might see some gains with that. If you've been putting a lot of effort into your relationship, maybe you're trying to be a more mindful partner, lover, and, spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend or partner or whatever, better human with those around you, that you can start to see some progress in that area if you've been putting that effort into your physical appearance, which, for Cancers, we might start to see more picking up out of a routine and being harder, taking a harsher look at our diet, starting in Virgo season for us. But, and for Pisces, this might be work you've accidentally stepped into. Because sometimes you're great at signing yourself up for more than you expected because, you're just there to swim, just a little fish. So this week kind of opens up, and I see some serious tension this week. I definitely get a sense of there's a little bit of overwhelming, like maybe it's a desire to control, maybe you're waiting for some news, but definitely a cloud of worry on Monday morning. I think this also should talk about if this is something that you're competing for, like a promotion or a grant or something where you're having to put yourself out there, whatever that means to you. There might be some unjust worry with this, because I get a very strong sense that for the most part, anyone who's putting things out there like you have been has really done enough woodshedding to really feel like it's the time to do that. Especially with Cancers and Scorpios, because you're both very hypercritical of yourselves, when it comes to your work. So you want to see that out of you want to see the highest form of yourself out of yourself. So this also talks about being a harsher critic on yourself than you need to be. So that's something to kind of keep in mind on Monday. Let's not open Monday morning with I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to this weekend, or let's say you're taking some time off and you're giving yourself a hard time about that, or just things aren't progressing as fast as you want them to. Let's remind ourselves to be nice to ourselves on Monday. Be nice to my friends. Don't be mean to my friends. Moving into the week, we have that eclipse in Aquarius on the 18th, and that rules group associations. So I see you kind of changing who you're working with and how you're working around. So this might mean leaving one concept of group associations for another. Like for me, I'm starting a guild, or at least I'm going to pitch it to some people in my creative circle to see if we can, kind of organize to preserve some part of our art scene in our town. And so for you and for me, this is hard, because this means it has to be a lot more egalitarian than I want it to be, than I have to listen to a lot of things that are different from what I make, or whatever. But it's about the group association, how I feel about it. My opinion has very much changed recently, and how I feel about certain group associations. So you might find yourself maybe have been a harsher judge of some things in the past, and kind of letting go of those concepts that you were so married to when it comes to group associations, if that makes sense. So this might not necessarily be a group of people for you water signs as much, except for Pisces. But this more might be how you view group associations, how group associations apply to you, what you want out of them, and how hard you're willing to work to have them as well. This also talks to me about change. I mean, there's some news this week for Cancers. So please comment and let me know what your news was. I want to hear it. It's just change on both sides. You know, this could be career. This could be those of you who are trying to buy a home. Maybe you finally decided to close on it. Mercury retrograde's coming August 30th. Sign everything beforehand. Read all about it. But, you know, and some of this change is going to be in the world around us too. Like there's going to be some earth and upheaval, which is just a daily theme these days. You know, I'm kind of glad I don't watch like the new, like I don't have cable, like I don't have a TV. I'm one of those people. And so, you know, I don't have to watch the chaos like spun at me like 24/7. But there's a lot in the outside world, and especially those of you who are more empathic, you know, try to greet this change with as much inner peace as you can push back at it. Try to really find your center. For those of you who are like moving, who are, you know, starting like new endeavors or looking at new things or suddenly being relocated, finding that center is really important for you too, because then you don't have to go back to the kind of transitional period you were in 2012 to 2014, especially Cancers and Scorpios. And then for Pisces, you know, that'd be more like 2011. But, you know, like finding that center through the change. So the change, you know, not that the change isn't going to change you, but you're kind of ready to meet that change as opposed to the change happening to you, you're happening to the change. That makes sense. Moving through the rest of the week, you know, I do see work on your mind. I see, there's a lot of communication at the end of the week, so maybe you're trying to sort out some things when it comes to your job. Maybe there's some final paperwork for those of you that are going back to college. This might mean that you're communicating with people that are in higher authority. Maybe you're on a wait list for a class that you want to get into. For those of you who are looking at improving, I know that like almost every water sign I know right now is like just ready for fall, like just so ready to like jump into like whatever project they have. Like they're like, I can't wait to start this class, or like, you know, this book, or what, or this practice, or, you know, like this job, like, you know, or like, you know, this project or that. So there seems to be kind of like some waiting for that. So this is probably a week where you're either, you know, maybe you know, if you're in a band, if you're changing your sound, you might be looking for different instruments. If you're, you know, if you're working and there's some, you know, workshops that are out there, you're going to start kind of pricing those things or seeing if you can get like approval, you know, conferences, anything to kind of build your profession, especially after the 20th of September, will be very beneficial in the last few months of the year, as we get toward November. So, but you're definitely moving on from some things this week. And whether those are physical things like towns, people, places, things we love, or if they're things like if they're ideals, if they're judgments, if they're, you know, images of yourself that no longer serve you, I highly encourage you, and so do my cards, to kind of walk away from that, water signs. Like, you know, like let those things flow downstream, let them go where they're gonna go. Like, and those don't have to be a part of you anymore. Like the best part about being a water sign is you don't necessarily always have to carry it. That's Virgo's job. So, you know, lots of moving on. So my number one lesson from the universe for you water signs this week is please do not let your anxiety get the best of you. If you find yourself sitting up worrying at night, like, you know, find a YouTube meditation, drink some warm milk, drug yourself with Benadryl, whatever you got to do. But, you know, try not to feed that anxiety monster this week. Huge goal. Okay, so I will see you guys next week. Have an awesome week. Let me know all about the changes that have come your way. You can book with me, cosmicbeachconsulting.com. I now offer podcast readings. You're going to love it. You don't have time for a reading. It's great. You send me an email. I send you a recording. It's a beautiful thing. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/cosmicbeachconsulting. If you find me helpful, please share me with your friends. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.